Matt Armstrong built his reputation by taking on automotive projects most people considered impossible. For years he purchased crashed supercars, repaired them in his workshop, and documented every challenge for millions of viewers. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, McLarens, and Rolls-Royces had all passed through his hands, but nothing compared to what arrived in late 2025. This wasn't just another damaged exotic. It was a Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport, one of only 60 ever built. With nearly 1,500 horsepower and a value measured in millions of dollars, it represented one of the most exclusive cars on the planet. Rebuilding it would become the biggest challenge of Matt's career and spark a debate far larger than the car itself. The story began in Miami when content creator Alex Gonzalez crashed his purple Chiron Pur Sport only weeks after taking delivery. While merging onto a highway at night, he struck a small Suzuki truck. The impact deployed every airbag, shattered the windshield, destroyed much of the front end, and caused significant damage beneath the bodywork. Although both drivers escaped unharmed, Bugatti inspectors quickly declared the car a total loss. Insurance paid out, and the wreck eventually appeared at a Copart salvage auction. Most people assumed that would be the end of the Chiron story. Instead, Gonzalez bought the car back for a reported price between $1.6 million and $1.9 million, making it one of the most expensive salvage vehicles ever sold. For months the damaged hypercar sat while Gonzalez explored repair options. He approached Bugatti directly, hoping the manufacturer could help bring the car back to life. The answers he received were discouraging. One estimate suggested repairs could cost around $1.7 million in parts alone, with no guarantee on the final total and a waiting period that might stretch beyond 2 years. Another proposal lowered the price but required Bugatti to take complete control of the project. Gonzalez rejected the offer and started looking for alternatives. Eventually, he contacted Matt Armstrong, whose reputation for rebuilding seemingly impossible vehicles had spread throughout the automotive world. When Matt first inspected the Chiron, the damage appeared worse than expected. The engine mount was broken, pipes were crushed, structural components had shifted, and signs of impact could even be seen around the carbon fiber tub. Matt openly admitted the car was in rough condition, but he accepted the challenge. What he didn't realize at the time was that repairing the damage would only be half the battle. Days after his visit, Bugatti locked the car's VIN within its global system. That decision effectively cut the vehicle off from Bugatti's official parts network. Dealers could no longer supply replacement components linked to the car. Essential items such as headlights, glass, brackets, and body panels suddenly became unavailable. Bugatti maintained that the restriction existed for safety reasons. The company argued that a vehicle capable of exceeding 260 miles per hour required factory-level inspection and repair. According to Bugatti, hidden structural damage could exist even if it wasn't visible from the outside. The safest solution was to return the car to Molsheim, France, where factory technicians could assess and repair it. Gonzalez disagreed. Frustrated by the situation, he publicly challenged the company and even threatened to recreate unavailable components using modern manufacturing techniques. The disagreement quickly attracted attention throughout the automotive industry and transformed a repair project into a public debate about ownership rights and manufacturer control. The controversy escalated in early 2026 when Bugatti leadership addressed the issue publicly. The company acknowledged Matt Armstrong's skills but continued to express concerns about repairing such a complex vehicle outside authorized facilities. Matt responded by stating that he understood the risks and accepted full responsibility for the rebuild. With that, the project officially moved forward. The first major obstacle involved reaching the damaged components buried deep inside the vehicle. To access them, Matt's team needed to separate the Chiron into 2 major sections. This process required removing 14 titanium bolts and disconnecting wiring, hydraulic systems, coolant lines, brake connections, and drivetrain components. Many observers considered the procedure impossible outside a specialized factory environment. Nevertheless, the team successfully split the car apart, revealing damage that had previously been hidden from view. Once the vehicle was opened, the extent of the crash became clear. The bracket connecting the engine and gearbox had snapped completely. Cracks appeared in parts of the gearbox housing. Several pipes and structural pieces were bent or crushed. The force of the collision had pushed the engine forward, placing enormous stress on surrounding components. Suddenly, the project became much more complicated than replacing damaged body panels. Everything now depended on repairing the broken bracket that controlled engine alignment. If that component could not be restored, the entire rebuild might fail. Matt and his team considered creating a replacement from scratch using modern manufacturing techniques. However, even a tiny error could affect alignment and cause major problems later. Instead, they chose to repair the original part. The bracket was sent to a specialist machinist named Bob. Working with a magnesium-rich aluminum alloy known for cracking under heat, Bob carefully prepared the damaged surfaces and welded the component back together. The repair succeeded, creating what Matt later described as the most important moment of the entire project. Without that success, nothing else would have mattered. While the bracket was being repaired, work continued throughout the workshop. Damaged pipework was recreated. Wiring systems were rebuilt. A custom exhaust system was designed using 3D scanning and printed templates. Body panels were repaired wherever possible. Since official Bugatti parts remained unavailable, creativity became essential. Some components surprisingly carried Volkswagen Group part numbers, allowing replacements to be sourced through alternative channels. Others required fabrication or restoration. Slowly, the collection of damaged parts began to resemble a car again. The next challenge involved reuniting the two halves of the Chiron. Alignment had to be precise. Even minor errors could create serious mechanical issues. The repaired bracket was installed first. Then the front and rear sections were carefully brought back together and secured using the titanium fasteners. Coolant systems, brakes, hydraulics, wiring harnesses, and drivetrain components were reconnected. Piece by piece, the hypercar returned to life. Yet one critical question remained unanswered. Would the engine actually run? That moment arrived in March 2026. After weeks of repairs and countless hours of work, the rebuilt Bugatti sat on its wheels once again. Fluids were filled, systems were checked, and cameras recorded every second. When Matt turned the key, the W16 engine fired immediately. The custom exhaust gave the car a deeper and more aggressive sound than stock, but the biggest surprise was how smoothly everything operated. The engine settled into a steady idle without warning lights or obvious faults. Moments later, the Chiron moved forward under its own power for the first time since the crash. It then reversed successfully. What had once been considered a total loss was now functioning again. The achievement generated enormous attention across the automotive community. Supporters viewed the rebuild as proof that independent specialists could tackle projects traditionally reserved for manufacturers. Critics remained concerned about safety and questioned whether hidden structural damage might still exist. Others focused on the broader implications. The project reignited debates surrounding right-to-repair laws, manufacturer restrictions, and consumer ownership. If someone legally owns a multimillion-dollar vehicle, should they have the freedom to repair it however they choose? Or should manufacturers retain control when safety and liability are involved? Another discussion centered on exclusivity. During the rebuild, viewers discovered that some components carried Volkswagen Group part numbers rather than unique Bugatti identifiers. While shared parts are common throughout the automotive industry, their presence challenged perceptions about how exclusive certain systems truly were. It raised questions about whether some repair restrictions existed purely for engineering reasons or partly to preserve a business model built around factory control and exclusivity. As the months passed, the Bugatti project became more than just another YouTube series. It evolved into a real-world example of the tension between modern manufacturing and consumer ownership. No lawsuits emerged, and neither side forced a direct confrontation. Instead, the debate continued publicly while the rebuild progressed. For many observers, the project highlighted how modern vehicles increasingly rely on systems controlled by manufacturers long after the sale is complete. Even today, the story remains unfinished. Additional bodywork, interior restoration, testing, and certification still stand between the Chiron and full completion. Yet the project has already achieved something significant. It proved that determination, technical skill, and modern fabrication methods can challenge assumptions about what is possible. More importantly, it forced the automotive world to confront difficult questions about who truly controls a vehicle after purchase. Matt Armstrong's career has always followed a similar pattern. He starts with something people say cannot be fixed, then finds a way forward. The Bugatti Chiron Pur Sport represents the largest version of that formula. It isn't simply another damaged supercar. It is a multimillion-dollar hypercar rebuilt under global scrutiny while sitting at the center of a debate over ownership, repair rights, and manufacturer authority. Whether viewed as a remarkable engineering success or a controversial experiment, the project has already become one of the most discussed automotive rebuilds in recent years.